Hey y'all, um, my name's Roxy Blair, and I just wanted to share my story and put it out there. So I'm gonna just jump right into it. Okay, so I was born. Ooh, I was born in Senegal, Africa, and which is in West Africa. And so it's on the. If you're looking at the map of the world, it's on the in the map of Africa. It's on the far left-hand corner, down in the corner of Senegal. And so I was born in Senegal, and my birth mother had had two little girls already, and so she just, it was hard for her, but she was getting by. She was able to support them and take care of them and everything. And so my mom, she and my two sisters, my oldest sister and I have a different father, but my middle sister and I have the same mom, same dad. So my mother and father, they, were in a relationship for a little bit. My dad was a teacher. He came over to Ziguinchor, that was where I was born, and that's the town that I was born in. And so he came over to Ziguinchor and, was teaching, and he met my mother, and they started dating, and they ended up having me in the process. And so, but he moved back before my mom found out she was pregnant with me. He moved back to his town that he originally lived in, and so my mom, they spoke a little bit of different languages. So when my mom wrote my dad a letter to say, I'm pregnant with your child, and I need you to come help me raise her, the translator forgot to send the letter for 3 months, so it just sat there for 3 months and didn't move. And so my mom, by the time the letter got to my mom or my father, he was like I'm a month pregnant. I was there like 3 months ago. That's not even possible. So he sent the letter back saying, she's not mine. This baby's not mine. So good luck to you. But so my dad just kind of left it at that and didn't believe my mom. And my mom was crushed because she didn't know what to do. She was barely getting by with two daughters and didn't know how she was going to take care of a third one. But my mom was able to make friends with these missionaries, Mac and Roxanne, and they were a cute little married couple from Canada. And so they just kind of took my mom under their wing, and they just, you know, they they became kind of like a mother and father figure to my mom. And so she just spent a lot of time with them, and um, she did a lot with them. She just, spent a lot of time with them. So they ended up leading my mom to the Lord, and so she just started praying. She was like, God, I don't know what to do. I don't know if I should, I don't know what I should do. Um, this is, I don't feel like I should give her up, but I don't know what I should do, because this is, I have two girls already, and I can't afford another child. But if this is supposed to happen, it'll happen. And so she just kept praying about it and kept praying about it. And then when um, when I was born, about 3 months after I was born, my middle sister, I think it was, she was holding me, and she accidentally dropped me on concrete. And when she dropped me so hard that my eardrum shattered, and I'm permanently deaf in my right ear and can't hear anything out of that side. So when I was little, it used to bother me when kids would pick on me about it, and like purposely try to talk to me on that side so I could um, try to hear them and stuff like that. But now I think it's kind of cool, because well, it would have been a lot worse if I had been older and remembered losing hearing on that side. So I was a baby and I don't remember it. So this is all I've ever known. So now I think of it kind of as like something that I came over from Senegal with, just kind of, something I got to take something with me. So it's kind of, it makes me unique and different. And I actually have really good hearing on my left side. So it's been it hasn't done anything to me, because I've been able to hear and do all of that. And but anyway, I was dropped, and my mom was able to get an X-ray of me, which didn't happen because they were afraid that I was going to be paralyzed from the neck down. That's what they had originally thought. And my mom was able to get an X-ray, and they said, no, she's okay, she's doing all right, but we don't know why she's not moving. So I continued to not move. So my mom just kept praying and was like, God, I don't know what's supposed to happen. I don't know what's supposed to happen. I pray that she will be okay, but I don't know what's supposed to happen. So my mom just kept praying, and Mac and Roxanne, Mac had a sister that lived in Seattle, and she went and got her teeth cleaned every 6 months by her dentist, and just was telling him, just about my story, and just saying, there's this little baby in Africa, and her mom's kind of unsure about what she wants to do and if she wants to have her adopted, but this little girl got dropped, and she needs medical attention more than they can give her in Senegal, and she needs to be adopted. I think that's the way that the mom's gonna go. And so she was talking to her dentist, and he just said, and she asked him, she said, is this anything you'd ever be interested in, adoption? And my dad just, he was like, I already have 4 kids, and I just can't, and this was back in 1988, so he was just like, my business is not where it is, his business wasn't where it was now. It's not even remotely in the same ballpark. It was, it was good back then, but it's great now. And so my dad was just like, I don't think I can, but I'll keep praying about it. And that was my mom's one request, that if she found a family for me, that they be Christians. That was her one request. That, just that I be adopted into a Christian family. And so, this lady that was getting her teeth cleaned, Mac's sister, she just said, I know that you're a strong Christian, and so that's one of the things that her mom is looking for, is that she be adopted into a strong Christian family. But my dad just said, I don't have the money to take care of a 5th child. It's just, I can't. But if this is supposed to happen, God will make this happen, and I won't ignore it if this comes up again. So, 6 months goes by at this point, or a couple more months goes by, and I'm 1. I'm 13 months old, and so I still hadn't made any progress. I still wasn't moving. Nothing was, I was staying the same. And so my mom just kept praying, and she just kept picturing the dentist in Bellevue, Washington, that just kept popping up in her head, and she just kept saying, God, I feel like that's the perfect family for my daughter, and I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know what to have happen. And so Mac's sister went back in to get her teeth cleaned again, and she said, you remember that baby I was telling you about like 6 months ago? She's still not moving, and she's still not doing well, and her mom just feels like your family is the perfect fit for her. But if again, if you say no, that's fine. And my dad just looked at her and just said, okay, we'll do it. And she kind of was like, what do you mean you'll do it? And my dad was like, we ignored this the first time, and I told you that if this were to come back up again, I wouldn't ignore it the second time. So my dad said okay, and my mom and dad, talked about it, and my mom was like, of course, like, we'll do this time, because we cannot ignore this for a second time. So I was the first child ever adopted out of Senegal. So bringing me over here was extremely hard, and God had His hand on this the whole time. My birth mother, the fact that she had the strength to give me up for adoption and just be able to do that. She could have done one of 3 things. She could have aborted me, which is what my birth father wanted originally. That's what he just kept saying to my mom, abort her, abort her, abort her. And, I'm not knocking anybody that's had an abortion. That is the hardest decision for someone to make, and there's all sorts of different circumstances. So I'm not, your choice is your own. So she could have aborted me. She could have kept me and selfishly kept me, and knowing that she couldn't care for me like she was able to care for my brothers and sisters, or my brothers and sisters, my sisters. Um, but she did the hardest thing by putting me up for adoption and knowing that somebody else was going to be caring for me. And my mom unfortunately passed away when I was 15, and I had planned on going to meet her when I was 16. My dad and I had planned the trip, and it was going to be, I was going to be able to give her a hug and just thank her for everything that she's done for me. And sadly, she passed away when I was 15, so I was a year off from meeting my mom. But I cannot put into words how thankful I am, and just how much I understand that how lucky of a kid I am that I've gotten to live this life in America and be able to just live my dream. And the fact that I got to go to beauty school, and I got to go to a nice high school, and I got to play on basketball teams and travel all over the United States, and that I got to, I just have had so much education and so much, opportunities that a lot of people in the world don't get. The fact that I can say that I'm Christian and not be crucified for my faith, and not have to be like hide it. And there's so many people in the world that aren't allowed. They can't publicly tell people that they're Christian. They'll get crucified for it. So I'm just my life is. People always say to me, Roxy, you're always such a happy person. What is that? And I tell them, I understand that my life, I would have lived a great life in Africa, but it wouldn't have been anything what it is now. And so that's why I've gone through this life just being so happy, and I try to just live my life to the fullest and do the best I can. And my dream, even though my mom's gone, is to go back to Senegal and see my birth sisters and see, I found out I got to recently talk to my sister for the very first time a couple months ago, it brought me to tears because I've been thinking of them, but I didn't know, and I actually thought one of my sisters passed away, so I was sad about that, and I was just devastated, and I found out that she's still alive, and that I have 2 nephews, and that I'm just such a blessed kid, and just getting to talk to my sister, she was able to give me more insight on stuff I didn't know, that my dad wanted to abort me. I didn't know that, and that was huge. That my mom could have just buckled down and said, "Fine, I'll get rid of her, and it'll be the end of that." But she didn't. My mom stood strong, and she did it alone. My dad, he didn't want me, and he just kept saying, get rid of her. And my mom just kept saying, she deserves a life, and I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to abort her just because I can. I'm just not going to. So my mom was just such a strong person. The fact that she, lived her life as long as she did, and knew that she had a child somewhere out there, but she didn't, wasn't able to call me or hear my voice and hear me laugh and all of that. It just, So, but anyway, I was the first child ever adopted out of Senegal, and slave trade had ended in Senegal in the late 1950s. I don't know how it went on for that long, but it did. So they were really scared about letting a baby out of Senegal. This had never been done, never attempted, so they just didn't know what to do. And the president of Senegal flew over to sign all my papers so that I could leave Senegal and go to America. And a white missionary was going to be bringing me over here. Not Mac and Roxanne, but a white missionary who was going to be, her name was Chris. She was going to be bringing me over here. And so the president of Senegal said, this is okay, and I'm letting you do this, but you need to be quiet about this. This isn't something that needs to, because this has never been done, so you need to be safe and careful about it. So Chris and I got to the airport, and we were able to get on the plane and fly away. But then the Senegalese military system, they hadn't been informed that I was able to leave. They hadn't been told that, so they were freaking out. They didn't know why a white woman was taking a black baby out of Senegal. They were so scared. And so imagine if you were at the airport, SeaTac, LAX, all these other airports, and you showed up and you see hundreds of men in the military just running around the airport looking for something. They were looking for me. They hadn't been told that it was okay that I was leaving, so they were able to not find me because I was already on a plane to America. But it just things like that have happened in my life where I'm just so blessed to have the adoptive family that I have, and the life that I have, and the friends, and just being able to share my story, and just so many things have happened in my life where I'm just so God is my everything. God has given me this one life to live, and I'm trying to live it the best I can. And I just have things that have happened to me. Like my adopted sister, she went to Ireland and she studied abroad there and was coming back, and she stayed in New York for a couple days. And when she was getting ready to leave New York to go to California, because that's where she went to college, she got in a taxi cab when she was in New York City because she was late leaving to get to the airport. She was really late, and so she jumped in this cab, and she goes, "Rox, he looked exactly like you, but it was a man." And I was like, "Thanks, Kara, like, that's great, thank you." But she was like, "No, like, he looked exactly like you." It was really, so I started asking questions, and he said, she said, "Where are you from?" He said, "Senegal. That's where I'm from." My sister, she goes, my adoptive sister, I have a sister, she was adopted, and she's from Senegal. "What part of Senegal are you from?" He said, "I'm from Ziguinchor." My sister said, oh my God, like, my sister's from there, like, and he goes, "Well, what would her maiden name have been?" And my sister said, "Korea." We changed that to her middle name, but her last name in Africa would have been Korea. And he said, mother's name, like, what's her mom's name? And so my sister said Anna, and he knew my mom, my siblings, my aunts and uncles. Out of all the taxi cabs in New York City that my sister could have jumped into, she jumped into the one where the man knew my family. Like, it just, things like that don't happen. Like, it just does. It's not a coincidence. That's not just something that, and whatever you believe, that's fine. And I have friends of all different, atheisms and Satanists. I have friends that believe, like, that do that kind of thing, and I have friends that are just all over the place. So I'm not knocking you. You have to understand something about me. I am the most non-judgmental person you will ever meet in your life, because I understand that, one, that's not my place. Two, that would, if I was a judgmental Christian, that would just turn people off of Christianity in a whole, and it does. Like, I've met so many people that are so judgmental about other people, and whether you're gay, or you are Satanist, or you're this and that, and it turns people off from Christianity 100%. Like, it just, I can't even describe to you, and if you had just been not like that, and shown them, how you were, they might be interested in what your faith is. I want to be like that person, because their actions are so good and their heart is so good, instead of you saying, "Oh, this is wrong, and this is wrong, and this is wrong." One of the things that bothers me so much is that church, Westboro Baptist Church, they make me so angry, just because of how it's such a hatred. Like, it's so sad, and that church bothers me a lot. And so, this is my story, and I hope y'all enjoyed it. I'm just one lucky kid. I honestly just live life to the fullest, and I love life. And so, if you have any questions, if you want to know anything, send me, messages down below, and we'll talk. And Facebook, I'm on Facebook, Facebook.com/The Blair Necessities. Facebook.com/The Blair Necessities. So and then Blair, BLAIR, and then necessities, NECESSITIES. And so, yeah, and I'm on Twitter too. I'm all over the place. I have Twitter too. Roxy Blair. Just find me on Twitter or find me on whatever. And so it was fun to get to share my story. And but my Twitter name is Seattle, SEATTLE _livin, LIVIN. So yeah, this is Roxy Blair. Alright, bye.